Dragon Ball Z Kakarot continues to be the powerhouse in storytelling for the game series. We covered everything from the base game to the previous Bardock DLC, and now I'm hyped to jump right back into some more stuff that we don't usually see from other games. And now we have the 23rd World Tournament where Dragon Ball ends and sets the stage for Z and beyond. And I know not everyone prefers the original since it feels much slower than Z and Super, but it's nice having that campy kind of Dragon Ball without all the transformations, beam clashes, and power levels. You know, back when Yamcha was at least a little bit close to Goku in strength. And even without the most flashy techniques, it's great seeing more of that nothing but hands kind of martial arts from Goku and his friends. We get a few side quests related to characters like General Tao, Master Shen, Bulma, Tien, and even the World Tournament announcer. What I'm a little disappointed with is that a lot of these quests explained what happened in the previous World Tournament, but it sucks just reading about what happened instead of those parts being a part of this DLC. There's actually quite a bit of this, and it's a little sad. Many times we'll have these moments where the characters are talking to each other, and the most we'll see is clips from the anime showing what they're discussing. Like how Yajirobe fought in the prelims, but we just never got a chance to see any of those prelim matches take place. And even if it was just a few animated cutscenes, that would have been nice. They even skip over some of the fights like Yamcha vs. Hero, and surprisingly even Piccolo vs. Krillin. And I get that those aren't super important fights, but I do hate that the potential content was cut out, which left something a lot shorter than it could have been. After you do eventually make your way through the main missions and finally defeat King Piccolo to make him raise Goku's children, there's not a lot left to really do. You do get some side missions, but those feel like more of a chore and a grind than anything else. First, we get introduced to these gang battles where we fight hordes of enemies to help out the police. Alongside that is a checklist that doesn't seem remotely fun to me, and that includes defeating multiple varieties of enemies. And I could lie and say that I may go back and do that later, but nah. My guess is that it's meant to pad out the gameplay so you can play longer, but I'd have preferred more of the World Tournament battles being playable instead. I won't lie though, when you do get to Tien's story, that may be one of my favorite parts of this DLC. Well, obviously besides the final battle. Seeing him interact with General Tao and do his own training was a nice touch that I wish more of these characters could have had. But again, for the parts that we do have, it is adapted pretty well to fit in the Kakarot. But don't worry, just in case you don't care about what they did with the story, you can also look forward to a few changes in combat. Ground battles are the newest addition here, and they're not nearly as bad as I expected. Because not many people could fly in Dragon Ball, and we don't have that full range of motion here like with the other DLC. But it still keeps the fast-paced nature of combat with you being able to dash across the battlefield with ease. During tournament fights, you can receive a ring out if you get too close to the edge at low health. And they do give you an automatic loss if you fall off the stage, but I think that's balanced out with the countdown feature. Because while you can't use healing items on yourself, you instead go down for the count, and if you win the minigame, you can get a majority of your health back. It's a nice touch seeing them change a bunch of the normal mechanics to make a more realistic experience. But the big question I have for today is, do you think this was worth the price? Personally, seeing the OG Dragon Ball getting love was great enough to me. But I can't lie, I do wish it had more of the original content adapted. And if I had it my way, the entire story of Dragon Ball would have been its own full DLC, but there still could have been more from the tournament. It felt like they should have had even more gameplay from both World Tournaments with how much the previous one gets mentioned. But I'm not terribly concerned because just with this and Bardock alone, they did well adapting the stories and giving a few more epic cutscenes in the process. And with only one DLC being left for this season pass, I am interested in seeing how that ends up. I'm hearing rumors saying that it's going to be the Peaceful World arc of Z, covering the aftermath of the fight with Boo and the possible fights with Oob and Pan. I'm not sure that's going to be the most interesting DLC to put at the very end of the season pass, but we'll have to see about that. Whatever it does end up being, hopefully it all ends with a bang. But tell me what you guys think about the 23rd World Tournament DLC. Was it everything you hoped for, or do you wish it was more than just this? I'd love to hear all your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more videos just like this one, and I'll see you all in the next video.